Absolutely.
Ryan. It's a pleasure being here, guys. I always am thrilled to finding other entrepreneurs. I think entrepreneurship is the backbone of of any economy, of any the success of any country. So for me, it's an honor being here between you guys. Um, I always want to like to start my presentation saying this: our business is making you money, okay, and that's true. Basically, what the reason that we were created is actually to find deals for you and to find deals for you. Uh, and I'm gonna start for logging in, so I'm already ahead of the curve. Okay.
Yeah, and just one of the things I do want to add also is that today, again, it's going to be interactive. We have 90 minutes with Francisco. It is going to be impossible to show you the 8 trillion gadgets that he's got on here. So if you're going, if you think we're going a little fast, it's just because we want to touch a lot of information that he's going to be teaching. Also, Francisco constantly speaks at our boot camp. So I did put a poll up there. Our next boot camp is March 20th and 21st. I'll put a link in there for it too, but it's 2 full days of wholesaling, how we evaluate properties. And, we have a lot of special guests, and Francisco is one of them actually. And, it's virtual. So we do have a couple of boot campers that are online watching the event too. So if you could put it, what you guys thought of the boot camp, that would be great. And I'll give it back to Francisco. And again, the Q&A is the best place to put your questions. I will try to answer as many as I can, or, I'll stop Francisco a little bit and maybe we could answer some questions too. So that will probably help out everybody. And I am actually going to put a quick poll also about, have you ever heard of REIFax before today while Francisco's going through the events for his presentation. So.
Okay. Let me resume. Well, one of the things that our product to say, if we actually make you money, we find deals for you. But what we define as a deal has 2 main components. The first one is the seller has to be motivated. Okay, so we're looking for signs of motivations. And when we're talking about motivation, we talk about why this homeowner, instead of want to sell, which is a soft proposition for investor, is they have to sell. It's a different proposition. So let's talk about someone that have to sell. That person that have to sell is motivated. So how do we find people that have to sell instead of people that want to sell? Well, the people that have to sell are the ones that have, financial situations or other problems, for instance, probate, or financial situation. They owe taxes, they are in pre-foreclosure. Whatever that financial situation or problem that person has, we try to find that. Okay, but there is an additional component to that, which is, okay, if you are here right now in a cloudy Tuesday morning, at least in Pembroke Pines, you are here for a reason, and normally this reason you are motivated because you want to actually make money out of this, and the reason for that is we're looking to make money. And in real estate, money translates to equity. So the 2 things that we do for you with finding deals is actually finding motivated sellers that have equity. Okay, so we want to start with that. A very simple search where we can find properties that are that the owner tend to be motivated and they actually have equity on the property. So we want to click on the search in our main search in what we call the professional dialer system. And in my case, and in Broward County, so my default is Broward County. We're gonna do some other examples in Dade County, okay? So don't worry about it, the ones that are in Dade. Well, we cannot cover all counties, so forgive me for the one of you that are outside of these two counties, but basically, this is what we're gonna do. First we're gonna search for how many pre-foreclosures single families are in Broward County, just to see how many are available. We have 5,757 properties that are in pre-foreclosure at this moment. Okay? Now, what do? We do here is we have these options as debt to equity. If I select this equal or greater than 30%, what is going to happen is this list of 5,757 is going to change. Let's see how that changed. 3,320. And people say there is no deals out there. Yes, there are. Now, how many of those are for sale or not? And this is
Francisco. Yep. Wait, before you go to sale, do you want to explain what debt? Remember, we have some newbies on here, so what does debt to equity mean, and how do you?
Okay, I usually explain that on detail when I explain. But just to summarize it right now, I want to go deeper into that. It's basically when we say that they have 30% equity or more. Let's say that you have a property of $100,000. The market value is $100,000. The debt is $70,000. So in our system, that property has 30% equity. Now, what's the debt? The debt can be mortgage, can be liens, can be everything that can add to what we call the known debt of the property. So we find all debts, including mortgage and liens. We add that debt, and we calculate what we call the known debt of the property. And we do a relationship between the market value in this example, $100,000, and we do, if we know that that is 70,000, the market value is $100,000, is $30,000 of equity. If we do by percentage, it's 30% equity. Okay, so the system does that automatically. How it does it, we're going to explain that when we go to a detail of how this system works.
Absolutely.
Okay? But at the moment, what we're showing you is how you can actually get that data. How can you get those potential deals? In this case, remember, we have 5,070 and 700 something deals, and we came down to 3,320. But I'll tell you this, guys. Remember what we're looking for here. We're looking for signs of motivation. The first sign of motivation is, okay, the property is in pre-foreclosure. Okay, then we find the equity, and that's what creates a deal. But if we find more signs of motivation, the better for the quality of the lead. So one of the other signs of motivation that I favorite between investors is, does the owner lives on the premises? Yes or no? Owner occupied, yes or no? I'm gonna say non-owner occupied.
Yeah, while Francisco's going through this, guy didn't put in the chat why you think it's better if they're not living in it. So he's still going in there. I'm just kind of curious what,
okay.
you know.
I'm gonna do this search again, and out of 3,320, we have 525 that are not owner occupied. So that's an additional motivation, just to call it that way. But I always ask, what is more motivated and not owner occupied in that sense?
Yeah, and so I got some good answers. Sharon saying there's no attachment to the property. They just need to get rid of the headache. That's sure. The owner's renting the property and may want to get out of renting, right? Inherited property. These are all good answers. So you're on the right path, right? So again, if they're not living in it, it might be easier. And especially, so far what Francisco's put, Broward County, pre-foreclosure, single family with 30% debt to equity. So there's some equity in it. And ideally, if we get that payoff, they might actually walk away with a little bit of money. And it's a 30-day closing, so it still closes quick. So there's a lot of reasons out there. You know, again, we're looking, you know, we're using the software to find our best chance to make money. There's literally, I think you said, Francisco, I always get this wrong. How many millions of combinations? Some crazy.
You know, every time that we add new ones, and we do it often,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, 2-3 million more. So we lost count of that. But the last time that we did the calculation were more than 50 million potential combinations.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of fields out there. Hey, and also before I forget, we kind of mentioned it too, was make sure you text the word REIFax to 954-737-3239 to enter the raffle. So some lucky winner is going to get 2 free months, $600 value. So make sure you go ahead and do it.
Okay. Now, guys, remember, all those were good reasons about non-owner occupied or absentee owners. But the ultimate absentee owner is the one that do not live where? In Florida, in this case. So we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna put contains FL, which is Florida in this case. So instead of contains, we put not contains. So the state of the owner not contains FL. As we do search, we're going to be seeing every single one that is out of state. How many out of state do we have? 85. Okay, so in theory, these people must be more motivated. So 85 is not a big number, guys. So don't get excited when you, I have clients that go like, I want the people that is the most motivated, and they find there is only 4 deals in the whole county. No, guys. Okay, they in theory are more motivated, but if you don't have enough people when you do the searches, that you don't actually prospect to enough of these guys, it's not going to happen. So be careful with that. The system will give you a very narrow list at some point, but if it's too narrow, you know, try to make it a little bit wider, so you have a choice to actually prospect to enough properties. Now, the way that we know that is we actually have templates in the results that we can.
And don't forget to do my favorite too, right, Francisco, at some point, the ones that are for sale versus not for sale. Because our job, right, it really overall is to find off-market properties. I know we have some realtors on there. Ryan and I are licensed agents also. If you want to, you know, if you want to be like everyone else, you're going to battle like everybody else for those listed properties. And if you use this, you know, REIFax for those kind of deals, you're not using it right. You want to find off-market properties, because that's where we're getting the big numbers. You know, Ryan and I are averaging close to $25,000 per student deal, and they're off-market properties. So I think that's always important that when you have access to that software, we're not going down to the courthouse to get those probates or anything, or looking up these court cases. The software of REIFax is actually doing that for us.
As you can see, guys, California, Delaware, Illinois, Georgia, New York, those are out-of-state pre-foreclosures. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my search, and basically we're gonna go to another sign of motivation. One of the ones that we really like is actually probate. I'm gonna check how many single family probates are in Broward County. 3,221.
Wow.
That's Broward. Now, how many of those are not for sale?
Wait, before you hit it, don't hit it yet. Go ahead in the chat. So we got 3,200 and change that are probates in Broward County. So
single family.
In the chat, single family, in the chat, how many do you think are not for sale, right? We're doing not for sale. So go ahead and put in the chat. What numbers do you think? So Carolina's giving me 2,300. Eric's giving me 50%. Carol, I wish they were all not for sale. They're not. Phillips, 2,500, 80%, 3,500, 50%. Okay, go ahead, Francisco.
Okay.
I'm thinking like 2,700 is what I'm guessing. Probably maybe 3,000. I'd say 3,000 are not for sale. Oh.
3,101.
Okay, see? Look, I think I won. I think I was the closest. And I did not cheat, by the way, just in case you guys are checking. So I mean, why is that important? Why do you guys think, right? Single family, probate, not for sale, right? So I'm going to do some quick math, I guess. Well, what does that mean for sale? Probably 100 and something were for sale, Francisco?
Let me put for sale, yes, so we have a clear view.
Yeah.
$120.
Right, so 120 in Broward County altogether, which actually is a pretty decent number versus other cities around the country. It's actually pretty decent. But all the realtors, these are properties that are listed with a realtor, so it's on the MLS. So people are battling, right? They're at home. Hey, I'm going to call my realtor. Is there any probates in Broward County? They must be motivated. So people are going after the 120. Go ahead and battle, right? You know, people like Brian and myself and Francisco and other investors, we're going after the other 3,100. So when people always tell me that there's no deals in South Florida, the data just shows it, right? We're not making up these things out there. I mean, we have, you know, real information, and this is what they did was they filed with the courthouse for the probate. So that's how, you know, Francisco and REIFax picks up a lot of this data too, so.
Okay. Now, well, we're here, guys. We want money. So we go equal or greater than 30% in equity base. So remember of the 3,100 something? Let's talk about the ones that are not for sale that have equity. $2,732, and that's normal. That's not as that's usually better in the equity side than pre-foreclosures. Okay, because probates, remember, you know, it's a succession that someone pass and leave the property to someone else, and usually these kind of property have a lot of equity, and that clearly shows here. 2,732 out of 3,100 properties. So
and actually, I'm just going to add to that. Brian and I, at the end of this past year, we actually bought a probate house in Hollywood, and if you've been following some of our webinars, we bought it for $50,000, and it was a hoarder. It was small. We spent about $900 about $1,000 to clean it up, and we sold it back on the market. We did nothing to it for $182,000. So we've had a couple of properties this past year where we made over $100,000 wholesaling it. And that's why it's important, you know, when people say, oh, there's no room, or I see a couple comments saying, isn't the probate process long? What I always tell people, it's the same thing. It depends on how many heirs there are. But imagine if you were baking a cake, right? You can put all the ingredients and then you're going to stick in the oven and you're building your pipeline. So if you have 10 probates sitting there, yeah, of course, it's going to take different times to get those done. But the idea is to use this data. This is what, like, you know, top investors around the, you know, our South Florida area, especially, or Florida, I should say, this is the stuff we're using. So sorry for there.
No, you know, and where do you find that information, Anish?
Yeah, absolutely. REIFax. I mean, and so I'm just going to kind of touch on.
And what are you going to do next?
Yeah. Oh, I know. And I had a couple of questions, so I'm just going to kind of answer them. The states that you are in currently are New Jersey, Florida, Maryland, and California. If I'm correct, I think Massachusetts is coming soon.
Yes.
And maybe Georgia, or not yet. I think
we're in the process. We're betting Georgia, but Georgia.
Okay.
Georgia has 101 counties.
Wow. Oh wow. Okay.
If you thought that collecting the data for Florida, which is 67, is hard, with half of the population, Georgia has 101 counties.
Wow. Wow. And then the second end of, I'm just going to let people know too, because I'm getting some private questions about, you know, other software. So Ryan and I have been investing, you know, down here in South Florida for, well, we've been in real estate 20 years, but really investing in wholesaling for the last 10 years. And our job is partially to see what else software is out there, what other REIAs use. And when I show what REIFax could do versus any of these other softwares, it's amazing. You know, what kind of data we get. And that's why we actually pay for it in our mentoring program. I think it's important that, you know, if you don't have the software or if you can't get this right data, you're already behind the 8 ball, meaning other investors have that data and they're moving faster. So if you're not at a level field, you're wondering why you're not getting those deals too. So
true. Okay, so we already have in this case we have probates with equity, and just for the fun of it, let's see how many of those are out of the state. So we're going to now contains FL, stands for Florida, and we're going to find how many out-of-state probates are. 147 in
that's pretty good.
Broward County. Now, let's check that in Miami-Dade.
Yeah. Don't forget our Miami people, Francisco. I'm going to get a bunch of messages from all my Miami people. They're going to say, "Hey, you only pick Broward." No,
we have Miami-Dade. Click and search, and the system is giving me 127. 127 what? With equity, out of state.
Out of state.
Let's take off the out of state part and let's see how many with equity are probates in Miami-Dade. Single family, guys. 14,361.
Wow.
That's a much bigger list than the one that we have in Broward.
And you might as well just do how many are for sale? You want to do how many of those 14,000 are for sale? Again, for sale for those latecomers, that means it is on the MLS. Remember, guys, your questions in the Q&A, please.
211 out of 14,000.
Wow. So you guys all battle for the 211. Francisco, myself, and Ryan, and then the other investors will go after the other 14,000. Fair enough?
Okay.
So Francisco, before you go any further, I have a couple questions that we're just going to kind of hit at the same time. So, okay. Does REIFax find vacant properties, and how does it determine the property is vacant? So
okay, the vacant properties, we found that this is determined by your friendly mailman.
there you go.
That's the guy that tells me that the property is vacant or not.
Yeah, they get the data from the post office.
Yeah.
Harvin's asking, how often is the data updated?
We update data. We update for sale properties and foreclosures daily.
Mm-hmm.
And the date of the data is updated weekly.
Okay. Carol is asking, is there an easy way to find a duplex or multifamily? Is there something?
Well, it's very easy. If you want probates that are multi-units instead of single family, we do multi-units less than 10. We eliminate the equity part. We don't do equity in duplex because that's residential income. So we don't do that. But in this case, this is Miami-Dade probate duplex, or it can be duplex, triplex, fourplex.
Yeah, up to 10.
Up to 10, or less than 10. 1,349, it's a nice number.
Yeah, that's a bunch. Troy's asking, how about Virginia? Anytime you think Virginia's on your radar anytime soon?
I would love to have Virginia. The thing is the short projections that I have is actually Georgia and Massachusetts. Actually, Massachusetts is already in, but I haven't released it because I'm testing the quality of the data is what we're looking for. But yeah, actually, Massachusetts, we're gonna bring it in the next 15 days. We're in testing right now.
Perfect. I'm going to combine a question from Jackie and Harvin. So how's the tool calculating equity and market value? Is it for the house fixed up or the average for the area? So if you want to talk about how are you getting equity?
We're gonna,
I think you were talking.
The moment that we actually do a search by equity on that are for sale, that's the moment I actually do and explain that part. So just
okay.
give me, we get there. Give me 15 minutes.
Yep, we'll get there. Let me see. Is the probate case number included in the report?
Yes, you can actually, you have a part here will say probate, and you can select the published date of the probate. And you can actually search by deceased, by representative, by attorney. So all the information available of the probates are here. So my recommendation to you is, go from a published date that it has at least 2 years. You want the recent ones.
Yep. And Carol's asking, with cell phones being the end thing, how do you get phone information on owners? So I know with the dialer, we actually have skip trace.
We have the phone number that is on list in public record, if there is any. Okay. If not, we have something that's called a skip trace process that is available in one of the levels of the system. And you can do searches related to that. We're gonna talk about specifically to that in a moment too. But when I'm going to the next destination, I'm gonna finish with the 4 main groups of leads that I think are most important, and then we go and actually go to the property overview and check that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to the multifamily. You saw how many multifamilies available are that are probably 1,349. That's Miami-Dade. If we want to do real quick, how many of those are instead of probate, pre-foreclosures? Remember, those are multi-units. These are probate multi-units, 319. Okay, you see one of that in green is potentially for sale. Okay, Now, what is the other main reason of motivation that we can find in here? We talk about, let me clear this, and let's talk about
go ahead and put in the
tax
chat
delinquent.
while Francisco's talking about it, go ahead and put in the chat what other motivation. So he's already doing it.
Tax delinquent is greater than zero. He owe the property or the homeowner of the property owe taxes. Where in Broward County? Which type of property? Which type of property?
Yeah, single family. Let's see.
Single family. Let's do that search. 389,245. So yes, equity.
And again, there's a ton of combinations.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
I didn't put anything in there. I was like, that's too much. No,
yeah,
that's actually the amount of properties.
But Francisco even can put after this, like, who's been delinquent for 2 years, right? If they haven't paid taxes.
3,728. That's the number. Okay, I was like 300,000. Wait a minute. The thing is, I didn't put anything in there. I had to put zero. So they had taxes, they owe more than zero.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, if you get a result that's zero or a result that's 390,000, it's usually user error. It's not the software. And unfortunately,
I just did it to see that we're paying attention, man. Let's go to 2019. Let's go to 2018. Just give me a moment.
Yep. Hey, make sure you guys are typing in REIFax to try to win the raffle, to enter in the raffle. It's 954-737-3239.
3,466. Oh, I put greater. I'm sorry.
See, that's what I told you. It's
Equal.
user error.
Equal to 2008. 1,230. So they owe taxes for 2 years. And do they have equity? Let's find out. $1,158. This is the equity potential of that. So very important, guys. That's another kind of lead generation system. The last one that I'm going to use here is actually, and this is something that investor looks really closer, but I'm going to do it for multi-units, less than 10. And I'm going to put that those properties were sold before. I'm gonna do it from 2017. That's what investor call tire landlords. You want to explain what a tire landlord is, Anish?
Yep. Basically, what we're talking about is people that, they own a property, and now, and a perfect example was Ryan and I bought a house. This guy owned 22 properties, but there was one he had to evict twice. So he was just so sick of it. He's like, I hate this property. I feel like it's haunted. And we kind of laughed about that. But, what we're looking for, and they could be tired of being a landlord, is, maybe they got bad tenants. Maybe the house is haunted. I'm kidding on that portion, but, or the house is just bad luck, or, they're tired of fixing the toilets, or, they always thought of owning properties. And then now that they're landlording their own property and not a project manager or a property manager, it changes quickly. So sometimes we filter specifically a certain amount of people that bought properties, The other one that actually, Francisco, we've been doing really good on, and this is a free tip actually, is people that bought from 2009 to 2013, right? They bought at the bottom of the market. Their house is probably doubled already, and now they're running into big capital expenses. What I'm talking about is a roof, 10 years, bathroom, kitchens. Now you add in with COVID, you know, we have a member, actually on one of the webinars, he has 5 properties, and he told me 3 of his properties since COVID, since September.
For that, I need you to do between.
Yep.
So if you want a specific year, like 2013, you go between, and the system you put January 1st. And
all
then,
I know is if any of you guys get deals because of the filters that we're giving you, I'll give you my address. I'll give you my wiring instructions. Francisco will give his wiring instructions.
I know the realtor my daughter is, so don't worry about it. So let's do that. Let's do what you just said. That's interesting.
Yeah, can you do 2009 to 13? Actually,
okay. I'm doing 13. You want me to do 9?
Yeah, from 9 to 2013, between 2009 and 13.
Between 2009 and 2013. Perfect.
Yeah. And again, we're picking multifamilies on this one, so.
Okay, and 2009.
Correct.
So that's that period. And multifamily. See, it shows here, guys. It's important. Yeah. It shows here. If you are a little bit lost on what you're doing here, it shows here. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, they should have a lot of equity by then, if they didn't already pay cash for it.
Yeah, 2,632, Anish. Sorry, I can't stop that, Anish. And you know, when I'm broadcasting this, sometimes that sounds, which is a call, by the way. It's going to disappear in a moment. 2,632.
People are calling you to sign up already. They're like, "Hey, look, Francisco, give me that." You know.
Not to that number. Okay, 2,632 properties actually. Yeah. Okay, and if you want to know, and this is an additional. Once you find one something that one sign of motivation, you can actually, you know, combine it with another. How so? You can find, okay, give me how many of those properties are pre-foreclosed. Of those 2,000 in those years, how many of those are pre-foreclosed? And you're gonna find some. See? Yeah. 14. Or let's forget about pre-foreclosed, but let's say how many of those owe taxes. $82. So every time that you find a sign of motivation, one of the things that you can do is combine it with another to see if you have enough data to actually play with it. Let's try probate as the last one. Seven probates that are pre-foreclosures that are between those 2 years. And let's shovel a little up and go to Miami-Dade. Same range. 157. That is a lot more. And let's forget about probates and let's see how many of those between 2009 and 2013, which are tired landlords. 5,042. That's a good number.
Wow. So now, just guys, because of time a little bit, Francisco, can we actually, can you click on one of the properties and show all the data with all the tabs?
Well, just because I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna do that, but I wanna do it from what I call the for sale.
Yep.
So it helps me to explain everything else. I'm gonna click on for sale properties, and when the property is for sale, we're going to find here what we call the potential equity. And we're going to ask only for properties that have at least 30% of potential equity. Remember, everything that we calculated before was based on debt to equity. We were checking at the debt of the property, how much the homeowner owed. Here, we don't care how much the homeowner owed. The only thing that we care is in how much is listed for. Okay, so in this, we're gonna find properties that have at least 30% equity based on listing price. Not only that, we're gonna select properties only that are the market value is equal or less $400,000. Okay, we're not gonna get $1 million properties here. We're gonna stay in that zone that you can actually wholesale the property real quick. So in Miami-Dade, out of everything that is for sale, the system immediately found 3,344 properties that have at least 30% equity. And actually, this is Broward County. Okay, we can check Dade too, but I'm gonna pick this example here. This property is in Parkview Drive. Let me check if I did search by, oh no, I need single families to do better examples. Okay. Have these 93 properties. I want to find something that I can use an example of what can be good in here. I'm going to check on this one. This is a townhouse. Let me find something that is going to be a good example. See? Oh, by the way, guys, this is a new thing that we did. When I say that, as you can see in here, you have this color, purple is new, and those properties are called properties in contingent right now. We actually bring that new type of property that we didn't used to have. So I'm going to use an example, this one here. This is a single family home that is not a townhouse. It's what is called a zero lot. And one of the things that I think I see here is it's listed for 188, and the comparables in the area telling me that is 309, 322. So before we do anything, let's go to the comparables to see if that's true. And you see here, it is my subject property. All these are the comparables around. And you can see all comparables that we're picking up here are between half a mile of the subject property. The farther one away is 0.48 miles of the subject property. So with that, I'm going to tell you how we calculate market value. We calculate market value by picking comparables of closed sales that are more or less 10% of the square footage of the subject, which in this case is 1,800, half a mile. Every single one of these comparables are half a mile or less, and 12 months. And some people might not agree with the 12-month part, but statistically, you don't have enough information, you cannot create a tendency. So we use 12 months. Can you change the 12-month part? You certainly can. That's not a problem. But all those comparables that we use in order to do the calculation, we do it what we call on what is called mathematically a median. So we do the median per square footage, and then we calculate this value, which is 309,000. Now, even if you agree or not, this is value is an accurate value. The things that you can do actually to check on that are very simple. You can actually challenge yourself this value that I'm giving you going to the filter. If I go to the filter and say, okay, I don't like the 12-month thing. I think that it shouldn't be more than 6 months. So you can filter 6 months. Here it is. You click, select them all, click on calculate over here on top, and it's giving me exactly the same value, 309,000. So the difference between 12 months and 6 months is nothing in this case. Now you take one off and calculate again. See, the value changed, 338. I actually have this one that is 56,000. That seems to be really off the rails. But what happened, what the system does is go by median. So when you calculate median, you tend to eliminate errors that are either too high or too low. That's the beauty about the median price. So if you go by average, you know, that's sketchy. Well, that the system and usually that the way investors actually work is actually median. The other thing that you can do is you can actually go by map and you say, okay, I want to select only the ones that are this close. And the system will bring only those, and you can calculate based on those only. 309,000 again. I'm gonna erase what I created, and one of the other things that you can actually do, I'm gonna reset the filter to come back to the original one. This is very useful. Sometimes you forget what the filters you put in. So you click here, you reset the filter and go back here and you have your filter again. One of the filters that I like the most is actually the subdivision filter, because it brings only properties that are in the same subdivision. See what I mean? Usually properties in the same subdivision, what do they have? What they have is they are closest to the property and they were built about the same time of the subject. So in this case, you can select that, calculate, and it's going to give you a value, in this case 303. Remember, we have this property that is kind of too low. In the low side, you can always eliminate it out and calculate, and it's going to give you a different value. In this case, very, 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 very close to the 309 that we were originally talking about. So it doesn't matter how you play with this. Normally, 95%
I'm not
of
sure
the time.
if I'm the only one. Oh, there, you're back, Francisco.
Usually 95% of the time is going to be very close of what it needs to be. There are scenarios that the system is not as accurate. Like for instance, if you are in a neighborhood that have a similar but newer neighborhood around, train tracks, that kind of things, you know, tend to squeeze a little the value that we're calculating here. But I will say to you, 90% of the time, you will be really close where you need to be. In the other instances that this might not work as good is when you are very close to the ocean. Why? Because, you know, there are $500,000 difference between a property that is one beside the other. Not only, even if they're oceanfront, One property can be after the breach and the other one is before the breach, and the one after the breach is $500,000 more than the one is before the breach. So that kind of thing, the system is not going to be able to pick that up. But always, because you can actually select properties, you see property number 4 as on the water, you can take it in or out, depends on where you are. Okay, do we have any questions about it, Anish? Anish? Oh, I think Anish either not froze or Anish is froze. Okay. Can you somewhere write something in to see if I'm still with you? Hello? 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 Okay, just give me a moment, guys. I don't know if you're seeing me or not. Okay, can someone write in the chat to see if you can hear me? Okay. Okay, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I think it's Anish is off for some reason. I'm thinking it's myself. Okay, don't worry about it. We're gonna continue here, and let's hope Anish can come back. Okay, I'm going to continue. Here in the overview, I already explained to you guys how to actually calculate the market value. Market value for this property is being 309. You can challenge that proposal every time. Usually you're gonna find that what you see here is very close what it needs to be. But just give me a moment. Anish is calling. Hello. Hi, Anish. Oh, okay. Don't worry. I'll take care of it. You're still on, right? Yeah, I am. Okay. It was weird because I thought that I was off. Okay. Bye. Okay, he's gonna come back. Don't worry about him. Now, let's go to details in the overview. In the details, you're gonna find all the public record information regarding to the property, including the owner's phone numbers and the relatives' phone numbers. It's gonna be here if you have the script trace option. Okay. So in the details here, you're gonna find all the public record information. In the listing detail, because this property is for sale, you're gonna find information related to the listing. In this case, the reminder says a single family home to one handyman special. See, the system found this handyman special property. We don't know what's going on inside, but we know that the numbers work. And if you want to see what's in the property, you can see where the damage is. Okay, that's clearly a property in distress. And again, as Anish told you guys, he's a realtor. So Please call with your information when you make money with this one. Anyhow, the other thing that you can do between the system is actually you pick the street view, and the system will give you a street view of the property. In this case, this is the property. And you can knock on the door, basically. It's a carport, actually. You can see around the neighborhood, which is sometimes very important. Your friendly mailman. So you can do that from the system. Additionally, the other type of calculations that we do here is what we call the active comps. The active comps are properties that are for sale in the same area. Meaning, I'm going to go to the active comps, and all these comparables are for sale. But they're for sale and they're similar to the subject property. What does that mean? It means that all these are for sale and are about basically very close square footage of this one over here. And then she's back. Really good.
So, hey, sorry guys, I'm on a cell phone, so I just want to apologize, everyone. That's why we dropped. So, still working through it. You're in good hands. I
thought it was my internet. I was getting a little nervous here.
Yeah, I should have paid the bill. It's my fault.
That happens to me too, man.
Awesome.
Okay, let's calculate the active value here. It's 366. There is a property in the active value side that is 200,000. It's not very close to the other ones. You can take it off if you may and calculate again. And you see it's 386. So the difference between market value and active value is something that you always need to watch very closely, because the market value is 309 and the active value is 386 or 366 in this case, or 366. What happened? 386 if you take this one off. What happened? What's going to happen in that neighborhood? Okay, the market value property sold 309, property selling 366. You can see that it's a tendency to go up, and it's a very, very, very high tendency to go up in this case. So you can clearly say that these properties in this neighborhood are going up. So very, very, very important. Sometimes you're going to find the indication of something against the market, like the active value is lower than the properties that are actually selling. So you need to be very, very, very careful to actually check both values to see what's the direction of the market. Now, this other tab here that we're going to talk about is the distress comps. And in the distress comps, and this is something that it has made a lot of money for many of our clients. Why is that? This is a leverage report. What do you mean leverage? You can use it to incentivize sellers. What this is telling you in this case is there are 17 properties that are either pre-foreclosed or foreclosed within half a mile of the subject. Now, so when someone is not very sure what's going on, you say, okay, by the way, there are these 17 properties that are in your neighborhood and only one is selling. In this case, number 9. Number 9 and number 1 are selling. But there are 17 properties here that are actually between half a mile of the subject property of your house in this case. But what investors do is instead of going half a mile, they go up to a mile. And that's when the numbers get scary for the homeowner. Because you go to a mile, you say between a mile of your property, there are 80 properties that are in pre-foreclosure. Meaning you're seeing here 50 only. I'm gonna show you 80.
Yeah, Francisco, this has made us, no joke, I don't want to even know how much money this has made us, but this is our go-to, especially if you're going to a homeowner and instead of giving them, quote unquote, that low ball value, right? You actually have data of what's going on in your neighborhood. So one of the things I like doing is saying, listen, you know, there's over 100 people who are in pre-foreclosure or foreclosure within a mile or 2 miles. What happens if Chase puts up 20 properties? What happens if, you know, Citibank puts up another 5? What's going to happen to your, you know, your house, right? There's going to be a lot more competition versus when you don't have this data, people are just giving lowball offers. So exactly what Francisco's talking about, this is true leverage.
Okay. Yes, it is. Now we go to rental comes. Rental comes is basically the rentals in the area. In this case, what do you need rentals for? Normally, if you want to calculate cap rate or return on investment, you need to know how much is the rental property here. It's giving me around the neighborhood, the rentals are around $2,300. Okay, but there is an additional thing that you can check now, and it's only available in REIFax, which is how much are the Airbnb comparables, if there is any around my neighborhood. So you know that in how much you can actually rent these properties, as you can see, and what we call the occupancy rate, and how much is the rental in that area. So you have a better understanding here. How many, you know, what are your choices? Sometimes you're going to be in an excellent Airbnb neighborhood. Sometimes you are not. So that's one of the things that might add an additional value to the property to the moment that you are actually selling the property.
Yeah, and Francisco, the other thing I want to add is, so Brian and I, we love the Airbnb because what we do, here's another free trick that we're going to give away too, is we'll sell to Superhost in the area, right? So we actually know the Airbnb numbers. They're running it as a business, and we've actually had them pay more than market value because, you know, they're getting 200 a night or 150 depending on the house versus a traditional rental. They might get, you know, 2,000 a month. As an Airbnb operator, they're getting 4,500. So if you have this data, it's unbelievable how we could push up those prices. If you know, and again, the software is fantastic. The issue is, like, you have to learn what's good for you and what's not good for you. And as you start adding more features, we just start you know, using more of these features to squeeze more money.
I like that. Additional, we have everything related to mortgage availables, and foreclosures. Okay. This case is properties in foreclosure for U.S. Bank, and that's probably the reason that I can say, but the listing price is actually a short sale. Why? We owe 260. The listing price is very, very Chinese lucky number, 188.88. So yes, that's the situation with that property. So I explained this very slowly for you guys, but really you can analyze it very quickly. And if you're buying properties with interest in holding the property, one of the things that you should be actually looking at is the zoning. Most in Miami-Dade. So in Miami-Dade, you're gonna know by zoning which areas is Airbnb allowed. Miami-Dade is a little picky about that. So I will, if I'm actually buying with that intention, you can actually search by zoning and you can actually find properties in the right zoning areas. So that's another part. Okay, now Anish, I'm gonna go talk about the different
levels
type of subscriptions we have. Okay.
Absolutely.
And after that, I'm going to go how to find cash buyers. Okay.
Perfect.
I'm gonna log out a little bit from the system.
And just so you guys know, unfortunately, since our internet got shut down, as you can tell, I'm actually from a phone. So if I don't get your Q&As, I know you guys had some questions, you could email me directly at anish@wjl.net. If I don't know the answer, I'll have someone from Francisco's team help answer any of those questions. So again, something
I have access to the
Q&A.
I'm gonna see if I can answer some, Anish.
Okay.
Just
So
give me a
let's
moment to
first
go
over
through
the
this. I'm gonna check some of the Q&A, answer some, and then go back to the other part.
Cash buyers.
Okay. To the cash buyers part.
Okay, perfect.
We have three different levels. It is Platinum, Professional, and Professional Dialer. The Platinum is everything related that you saw to the searches. All that is that data is there. Okay. The Professional includes what we call the contracting and the follow-up. How to send contracts really quick. In less than 30 seconds, you can have a template contract set up, and the system will take that contract and send it to whoever you need to be sent. If that is a realtor, if that's a homeowner, and it comes with a integrated CRM follow-up system that you can text, call, send emails, receive emails, and everything is integrated to the system. If you go to any of these boot camps that Anish and Ryan actually do, they're going to tell you that the money in this business is actually in the follow-up. So it's not only finding all this wonderful information and data, but if you have to handle everything in an Excel spreadsheet, it's going to be a nightmare for you. So that we provide that system for you that is actually holding your real estate business in all the areas. And last but not least is the Professional Dialer. The Professional Dialer includes a phone that you can actually dial from. Okay, that's very useful if you're a person that likes to make phone calls directly from the to the agents or homeowners. Either way, you can actually have or do that follow-up related or directly from the system. Not only that, this includes what we call an skip trace feature that bring not only the phone numbers of the owner on record, but the relatives that might live or have a relationship to that homeowner and to that property. If you see all these prices here, it's very simple. You select the price you want. One of the things that I can tell you, if any of the choices that you have here, you select the annual version of that one, what is going to happen is when you click on that, actually you get 2 months free instead of, you always get 2 months free, but additional, and this is something for REIA, if you have your promo code REIA here, and you confirm that promo code, you have an additional discount. It went to $29.90 to $2,240. Okay, so this quite a chunk of money you will save if you do this. Okay, so my advice is you use the promo code REIA, so we know that you actually came to this webinar and and attend to this webinar. I'm gonna go back here, and the next that I'm gonna show is actually how to find cash buyers, meaning one of the most important list or piece of information that you can have in your business is actually your buyers list. And if you are an agent, and well, you are an agent actually, it helps to, but as an investor, it's crucial, because if either you're going to wholesale or just buy and hold, it's always there is always good to actually have an exit strategy. And the exit strategy here is your buyer's list. Otherwise, you have to depend on someone else's buyer list, and you have to actually share the profit if you don't have someone to sell the property to. So in day one of your real estate investor career, one of the things that you actually need to do is get your buyer's list. And if you click on the buyer's list here, you click in the buyer's pro option. The buyer's pro option is going to actually help you tremendously to get your buyer's list. I'm gonna go ahead and select Miami-Dade. So we're gonna start in Miami-Dade's buyer list. And we're gonna pick zip code here. Actually, I'm gonna check all Miami. It's gonna take a little bit in order to actually run the query, because what the system is doing here is going to actually give me the cash buyers of all Miami-Dade. Well, and let me try to explain to you what a cash buyer is for us in the system. A cash buyer is someone that bought multiple properties within the last year, and they bought it through a corporation. The simple assumption here is if you buy properties through a corporation, those are not properties that come through a mortgage. They pay cash. Okay. In this case, you have these companies called D.R. Horton Inc. That's probably what we call a well buyer or a hedge fund. And it's going to be a very good idea for you to actually get these guys in your list. Why? Because you're going to be able to sell them a lot of properties. In this case, D.R. Horton have how many properties? They have 214. But this is probably a building here. So let's go more specific. Let's go more specific. I'm going to do the same thing, but now I want only single families. Let's see how many cash buyers or single families are there. Okay. This one, 6 properties. And you can see which properties this person bought. 395, 360, 405, 319, 185, 349. You can see that this guy is buying everything between 2.2 and 4.2s. So you have a better understanding which kind of cash buyer is this. Additionally, what can I see here is not only the cash buyers, but who the holders are. Meaning, holders in cash buyers, we only see the ones that were actually sold in the last 365 days. But in the holder side, it doesn't matter how long ago they bought that property. So when I click on holders, what the system is doing is actually adding who has which kind of properties and how many. So you're going to be seeing here big numbers. Like, for instance, this is a hedge fund that have 568 properties, and 104 and 61 and 59. So you have a better understanding here of who are the players in the buy and hold game in actually Dade County. You can actually see out-of-state holders, out-of-state buyers, out-of-state holders, international buyers, and international holders. International buyers is very, attractive for many of our clients because these clients are coming from overseas. This person is from Quebec. It's actually have 4 properties. You can see Puerto Rico, Canada, Germany, Argentina, Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela. If you click on international holders, it's not going to matter how long ago they bought the property. So you're going to see kind of like different numbers over here. Now, I'm going to try to do a little Q&A now because I've been talking and I'm not interacting with you. Unfortunately, Anish is not in. So I'm going to start reading some of your questions to see if I can answer some of it. Are the majority of probates not for sale because they're still in process or someone passed away and the family didn't do anything with them yet? The answer, anonymous attendee, is all of the above. This usually I don't answer these kind of questions because they're more real estate related and more like I'm more like a REIFax expert just to say something because it's a software that we created. But in this case, I can tell you that it's actually both. Okay, hope I got it right, Anish. Is there training for the REIFax software? If so, how long do we have access to the training? Oh, I love this question. Thank you very much for answering. Yes, the answer is yes. You have training. The 3 ways that you can actually learn REIFax are, you can do and check our video help. You can call us, chat with us, but more importantly, you have unlimited one-on-one trainings. We are gonna call you to train you because we understand that their money, for me, if you learn the system, you're not going anywhere else. So our commitment to you as a client is we're gonna train you until you put a restraining order to us. So the moment that you say enough, we're gonna call you and we're gonna train you because the most that we train you, the most that we stay on the system. Now, knowing that, you can ask as many sessions if you want. I have people that have over their clients' life 15 to 20 trainings because that's what they needed. There is people that they only need 1 training and they're good to go. There is people that never ask for a training because they say, I don't need a training, everything's in the videos. Okay, so we do that for you unconditionally. Is there training for the REIFax software? I already answered that, I'm sorry. How do I get contact info for these owners, either in Miami-Dade, Broward, or out of state? I already answered that is through the skip trace process. Where are you focused on probate? I wasn't focused on probate per se. Probate was one of the type of leads that we actually find. Probably you were in probates at that moment, but probate is a very good source of leads, by the way. That's what we were talking about probate.
I was just going to add to that is we made a lot of money on it. Again, it depends on what your niche is, right? So not everyone has to do probates, not single families. Unfortunately, I still can't see all the questions, but the other thing is the reason we're also focusing on single family, it's the low hanging fruit. But yes, we've done condos, townhouses, all the above. So.
There is someone that is asking for the probate publishing date 2 years. What would be the max? You can. There is no max for that. I would say that. You know, sometimes people like to use the probates that are more recent, but not necessarily. Correct me if I'm wrong, Anish.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It doesn't, you know, again, we're just doing, again, a filter. So I think that's also really important. So I just want everyone to know is that if you, you know, become a member or subscriber for REIFax, Francisco and these guys are true software, they're a software company. So they're going to teach you how to use the software. They are not coaches or mentors, right? So what they're going to do, you can't call them up or his office or the person on the other side and say, hey, what's a good deal? They're going to say, well, what do you think is a good deal? What are you looking for? So again, we just picked some simple samples, criteria that we've made a lot of money on too. So.
Okay. Have you considered doing multi-family 4 or less, since these are considered residential, when 5 or more are considered commercial? The system actually can do less, less than 10 or more than 10. That's the way that actually public record classifies that. If you want the classification of 4, you need to search in for sale, because that classification is not available in public record per se, unless you go by units. That in that case, that you can, okay, I want 4 or less units and 5 or more units, regarding to how many units the property has. And then yes, you can actually do that in public record. I'm gonna go with Victoria. How the database interface? How does the data come from, and how do we know this is accurate as possible? Okay, all this database is coming from 3 different sources. The first one is public record. We update the data in public record for foreclosures daily, and for the rest of the information, like closed sales, we do it weekly. Okay, and the reason is the reason that we don't do it daily is because we always calculate all this equity and market value thing every single week. It's a really long and huge process that we actually do for you, calculating all these values regularly. So that's why we do those weekly. And the other one that is coming is actually for newspapers publication. There are of course online newspapers, and we actually pick the information from there. Most accurately, the probate is coming from there. So that's how you know that the data is is accurate. But I'll tell you this: the way that we know the data is accurate is because you're gonna call us and tell us there is a problem here. And I'm not afraid to say sometimes we have found that there is issues related to data, and we're happy to say, well, we solve it really quick. We don't claim to be perfect, but we claim to be on top of any situation that we might have. And we really appreciate every single feedback that you guys give us in this business. There is another one that says, when you do the tax delinquent search, does it indicate that the property is up for a tax delinquent sale? No, it only tells you that the property owed taxes. We don't have tax deed sale in this software. We don't carry that. We only tell you how much they owe in taxes. Where is the color key? That's an easy question. Thank you for that question. The color key is very simple. I'm gonna do it real quick. I'm gonna do a search real quick. I'm gonna do that search to be for sale. Single family. I'm going to pick a zip code 33023. Search. Okay. See, you see different colors here. You want to see the legend? It's in here. On the right on the search, you have the legend icon, and it will tell you what every single one of those mean. Okay, so the answer that. Is it limited searches per stay per month, or you have chosen? No, we don't have limited searches. You can search as many as you want. Have it your way. Jackie, hi Jackie. There's another question. So would it be safe to say that we could safely use REIFax value for our ARV or after repair value for the ones that of you that are new? There is no such a thing as safely, okay? You can use it as a reference, okay? And it's gonna be very close many of the time. But remember, Jackie, market value or valuating a property is an art, okay? It's considered an art. If you're a real estate agent, that's what you're gonna be hearing. Valuating a property is an art, but what we give you is a very close tendency. So you can use that tendency to your decision making. But again, you can challenge that tendency and play with it. If you play with that tendency and every single changes that you do, you end up with a close value that the one that we give you, then that will be the presumptive market value of the property, or whatever value is calculating, because you can calculate not only market value, you can calculate active value, you can calculate rentals, you can calculate Airbnbs. So you can take in and out properties that are not the same as the one that you have and do your calculations. So I'm gonna pass that question. Leah. Leah. Hi, Leah, how are you? It says here that you're asking that the comparables are 3 for 2 bedrooms. Okay, remember what we say is we calculate market value based on more or less 10% of the square footage, half a mile, 12 months. If we go, I'm gonna pick any of these properties here, and you can see in my comparables, this is a 3-2. Okay, so my comparables is gonna be everything that is more or less 1,452. 10% of that, half a mile, 12 months. If I want to filter by 3-2 only, you can select only 3-2, calculate, and it's going to give you, in this case, the same value. It's not always like that, okay? But the Anish and Ryan have a very good formula. If you are missing a bedroom of a bathroom, and it's a property with more or less the same square footage, they will tell you in round money how much you should take off of the market value of the property, or add up in this case. So yes, you can always change that, but the system will only go by square footage. The system won't go by bedrooms and bathroom unless you actually filter by that. In this case, I did the filter and the value is the same. Is it always going to be like that? No. Sometimes it's not going to be like that. For instance, I'm seeing one of the difference here is my subject is no waterfront, and there is one that is waterfront here. That's something that you can play with or not if you want. If waterfront properties in that area is a big impact, you can take it in or out, depends on what you want. And then you calculate again. In this case, it went from 285 to 272. still very close to the original price that I actually gave you. Let me see which other questions do I have here. Can that picture of the property be exported? They actually, we have something that is made to be like a report, and you can export, you can actually save the report in a URL and send it as a link to someone else. And actually pictures are in there. One of my favorite report is actually the BPO report. I'm gonna run it a little bit here. And I really like this report because it gives you the properties side by side, including pictures. Okay, if available, as you can see. And if you decide to export that, the system, the moment you click save, that save, you go to your reports, you create a URL, and you can send the URL to someone else, and it's going to see the report that you're seeing here. Okay. What do you say for asking price versus the comparable price? Okay, the asking price is when you go by the regular search, you can ask for potential equity, which is based only on listing price, or if you go to the search that is not for sale or public record, in that is going to be related to debt to equity. And in here, if you are in the public record tab, you see the debt to equity option here. And if you are in the for sale tab, it's going to be potential equity right on the bottom over here. I hope that was the question, Mr. Yuma. Okay, Anish, do you want me to keep answering questions? There is something additional you want me to do? I have two more questions here, so I'm gonna go with it. There is an anonymous that says, when you do the tax delinquent search, does it indicate that the property is up for a delinquent tax sale? I already answered that. No, it's only how much they owe. Nancy Richmond, if a home is in pre-foreclosure, sometimes it will provide the mortgage info as well as the foreclosure info. Sometimes only foreclosure info is available. Is the mortgage adding to the foreclosure debt shown? The answer is, if that's the same that is shown in the one in foreclosure, we would show it in both places, or only one, depends of what the system is doing at that moment. But if you have an additional, you have like two mortgages, the system is going to pick it up and calculate what we call the total debt of the property. Now, usually you're gonna see multiple mortgages. If the property is not in foreclosure, when the property goes to foreclosure, we make the total debt equals what the lease pendant is showing at that moment. You're welcome, Michael. Now, does this look up for commercial type properties, multifamily, industrial, warehouse, offices? The answer is yes, 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 and yes. Everything that is in public record, it can be in probate, it can be in tax delinquent, it can be in foreclosure, even if that is multifamily, an industrial, and a warehouse, or for office. And it can be also for sale. So yes, the answer is yes. Masking, Mr. Cruz. Okay, How long does it take to the pre-foreclosure process to go to foreclosure? That would be that depends of the court and how much they're backed up. That depends of if they're doing a tax relief, or I'm sorry, protection, government protection for foreclosures. There is a hundred things involved. So I don't want to get into that, Jorge. The answer is, it depends. Okay, my best guess will be for properties that are not Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or anything that is government related, it will take between 6 to 5 years, 6 months to 5 years. Depends on how good is your lawyer and how invested is your bank to get rid of you if you owe them money, or if you have a good lawyer. So this is a judicial state regarding to foreclosures. So you can be out in between 6 months, and I have seen foreclosures for 5 years. So yes, there is that. Natasha. Okay, Natasha. I think this probably is going to be my last question. Is there any kind of conflict if a realtor who owns their own LLC and uses REIFax, works for a broker, and uses a different system for writing contracts and doing transactions? I'm trying to understand how to use the system outside of my broker office. We have no conflict with your office. The only thing is the FAR contract. You can use any contract in our system, but the FAR contract is copyrighted. So if you are an agent, you can upload your own FAR contracts because you can use it. If you're not an agent, there is a company called AltaStar where you can lease this contract. You can lease it, okay? The moment you lease that contract, you can use it. Now, the moment that you ask us to upload the FAR to your system, we want to say to you, okay, we need to see AltaStar. We need to see if you pay, if you are using that contract legally. You know, we want to abide and comply with copyright law. So it's important for us to know. For an agent, there is no problem. There is a limit with the monthly limit of records you can download. Yes, we have a limit of 5,000 records that you can download. We have ways to be flexible with that. When we say we are flexible, so we consider that 5,000 is enough to actually do and follow up and send mailings, that's the case. But we have assisting accounts that are $50 additional, and you can, with an assisting account, download 5,000 more. There are some clients that download things by error, and you know, they explain to us we're not gonna say no. There is something that we see that is not intentional. You guys actually call and talk to us, and we give you an extension for 5,000 more. That doesn't happen often. It's not a rule, but we actually are flexible with that. It's not that we're gonna say no at once. The only case that will say no to something like that is something that you are repeating constantly. So yes, there is a monthly limit, and you know it already. How many accounts login are allowed per subscription? Just one. And you can have up to 4 partners for $50 per partner review. Okay, so thanks for that questions. That is useful for everyone. Hi, Victoria, thank you. Reggie Williams, what are the days and time frames for training is offered? It depends on the schedule that we have available and when you are available, Reggie. Okay, so we don't have training schedules set up prior to. Okay, we work that with you. We also have a training every single Friday at 10 a.m. that you guys can attend. Hi Adolfo, do you present this webinar in Spanish? Well, as you can, as you realize, a few of you realize that's my native language. So the answer is no, but yes. I don't do webinars in Spanish, but all my staff is bilingual. So if one of the things that I'm gonna tell you is, if any of you wanna personalize one-on-one training before you buy the system, you give us a call. You sign into the system directly. You can go right now, go to REIFax.com and go to the main site, and I can show you real quick. And there you're going to be seeing that we have a demo, order free demo. You click in the free demo, and you're going to be able to actually pick the date and the time that you want the demo. If that's in conflict with anything we have, we actually going to call you and ask you to find a new time with you. But yes, you can actually come here and request your own demos before buying, if that is important to you. I'll tell you guys, this is a very expensive system. It's not complicated. Once you understand it, you're gonna fly through it real quick. But you need to have certain bases up to the system. Once you have it, you're gonna have no problem at all, and you're gonna be able to do whatever you need to do. Okay, Maya is asking, does the software help you to find off-market properties mostly, or it shows the one that are on the MLS as well? Well, we have both for sale and not for sale. We don't call it MLS because MLS properties, we go to something called the IDX. So there are realtors that can opt out to the MLS, to the IDS, and they are not showing into our system. So there are properties that we that we won't have, but I will say between 90 and 95%, depends on the county, of the properties are going to show. Basically, it's the same the properties that will show in Zillow or Realtor.com, which is all IDX. Simone, so if you get $299 amount, does include a skip tracing, and what is include? Phone numbers and email addresses. The answer is yes, and it's actually $224 if you use the promo code REIA. Simeon. How many accounts do we use are low prepaid? I already answered that one, guys. Perfect. Leah Mancini. But didn't you say that the professional system come with the contracts? Professional come with the contracts. Professional dialer comes with the dialer. Okay. And the contracts. I had Natasha. How does REIA find such a wealth of information versus the MLS that is minimal? Oh, okay. Natasha, I had to clarify to you, Natasha. The MLS is a different tool. It's like, you know, you will never use a hammer as a screwdriver. The MLS is a very good tool, okay? But it's created to sell properties, and it's created with that purpose, selling properties. Okay? We are not created, this system is not created to sell property. This system is created to find deals for investors. It's a different proposition. Okay, if you try to search by equity in the MLS, they're not equipped to do that, because that involves what? That involves speculation. Okay, when we create something statistically, we are speculating to that. And the MLS, I think that they're really careful to speculate. Okay, because they're based on facts and facts only. So it's a very good system, by the way, to do what it does. It is actually selling and renting properties. Okay, so if you're an investor and you're looking to make money out of properties, you need something that have an equity search. The MLS doesn't have that. So in that matter, yes, we're similar but very different. So thank you for that question, Natasha. How many accounts logins are allowed per subscription for people who have partners? I already answered that, REIA. You can have as four partners per system, and those are $50 additional. By the way, for the ones that are willing and thinking they're going to be able to share that way, doesn't work that way, because one of the things that you actually need is, or when you have partners of assistance, that's the way we call it, the follow-up is actually together. So if you are planning to do or to buy, or if you're going to do follow-up, you're going to be sharing the follow-up probably with someone else that is not your partner. That's a very bad idea. So that's personal information. So we advise you not to do that. Simeon, you're asking me to send you the link. I don't know what link you're referring to. If that's the demo link, you already have it. You go to the website, you go to order free demo over here. Or if the link to actually buy REIFax, you go to pricing, and you use the promo code REIA in order to get the discount. If I have Altastar, somebody asked me if I have Altastar. No, Altastar is a separate company. Actually, REIA has a special discount with Altastar. So you get like $20 discount, something like that. You know, that's the benefit when you belong to a club. And as Anish told, they're going an event tomorrow for all the benefit that you have as a member. If you are not a member of REIA, I encourage you to use it. I actually use it because I'm automatically a member because I'm a vendor. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I use it anytime that I have the opportunity to. So my advice to you is get a member of your local REIA. That's always good. Is there a way to export your list? Yes, you can export our list, Juman. Up to 5,000, you can export our lists. I'm in the email with the code. Simeon. Okay, Simeon, what Anish have your email. Basically what you need to in the promo code RAD is REIA, but if you want a link to subscribe, you have to go to Anish. Anish is going to send that to you. Anish, if you are hearing me, Simon Griffin is actually asking for a link to subscription. Oh, he said I got it. Perfect. Robin Franco, are the phone numbers screwed for DNC list? We do it in South Florida, okay? But I'll tell you at once, 95% are do not call. Robin. That's the reality. That 95% of the phone numbers that you find in any given time are going to be in the do not call list. Okay, I think I don't have any more questions. Well, I'll be talking straight for 2 hours. It's been a pleasure for me. If any of you have any additional questions, please send it to REIA. They're going to forward that to us, and we're going to do our best in order to answer all those questions. Again, trainings are free, and everything that we do in this company is actually to make you money. And we understand that if you don't make money, you're not going to pay for the system. So we're in a very, 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 you know, good position to actually give you the best information. So thank you very much, Anisha.